Hello, everyone. My name's Brian, and it's been a minute, hasn't it? So I went on vacation, super duper quick, and then I got sick. So it's been a minute since I've been here. But let me go ahead and say welcome back to everyone who's joining again. And if you've just found my channel, hope to earn your subscription today. Let's hop right into the subject matter of today, which is Modern Death and Taxes. Now, Modern Death and Taxes is a deck that I've played for literal years. Eldrazi and Taxes was the first deck I played in Modern ever, and when I rejoined playing Magic, especially playing Modern, it's where I chose to start. Now, for a hot second before Modern Horizons 2, Mono White Death and Taxes was a legitimate thing. It's then changed into kind of a Urian pile, but this is a version of Death and Taxes, which is actually kind of in that pseudo-budget range, especially online, as you can see here. And normally, I start you guys in Magic Online, but I wanted to show you where I got this list from. This is a list that 5-0'd in a Modern League by MTG Lucas, and let's go ahead and hop over to Magic Online so I can go through the deck, but for the record, I did not make this list. This fine person did, and they managed to 5-0 with it, so if we go into playing some Magic and it does poorly, it's not the deck's fault, it's this guy. All right, so let's go ahead and run through. Now, this is a version of Mono White Taxes that I lovingly call no win con Mono White Taxes. Now, there are versions of this deck that, of course, have Solitude, and I'm going to say it right now. Versions of this deck that run Solitude are better. 100%. The Blink version of this deck with Solitude, the Urian pile of this deck with Solitude, they're better. Now, why am I not running Solitude? A, the list I found is not running it, and B, I don't want to pay for Solitude. And there's a argument to be made before investing in something like Solitude, which is quite expensive, to try the deck without it. And if you can enjoy the play loop without something like Solitude and Yarion, chances are you then want to invest in those expensive cards. But let's run through the basic of what I lovingly call no win con Death and Taxes. So starting off for Giver of Ruins, they are great. They can give protection of either a color or colorless to any other creature. So the difference between Giver of Ruins and Mother of Ruins is Mother of Ruins can't do colorless and it can protect itself. It's also in Legacy, not Modern. So in Modern, we have the Giver. For Path to Exile, again, you probably want to run some amount of March of Otherworldly Lights in a mono white deck, but this is a list I found, and Path, still really good, especially with Leonin and Arbiter, who we'll get to in a moment. 4 copies of Aether Vial, if you've never seen this, essentially it may charge up each turn, and then you can tap it just to put a creature from your hand directly on the battlefield. Chances are this is going to sit around 3 or 2, because we already have only one 4-drop, which is Restoration Angel, who we'll go over in a second. Now, Leonin and Arbiter, one of the taxing pieces of Death and Taxes. It states a player cannot search their library unless they pay 2. Now, super quick, if you're ever playing against Arbiter or you're playing your own, make sure to pay before you search. If you go to search and you haven't paid yet, it's too late, and then you can't then pay. So you have to do it before it goes off. 1 Lion Sash, it gets grabbed by Stoneforge Mystic, also just a good hate piece and good for getting over the top and growing stuff. 4 copies of Stoneforge Mystic, it gets you Cauldron Complete, Batter Skull, Lion Sash, and Sword of Fire and Ice. Now you might say, Brian, isn't Stoneforge Mystic a win con because you can get Cauldron Complete? But let's stop and do some math real quick. Stoneforge Mystic comes down at its absolute quickest turn 2. From there, on turn 3, you can put down Cauldron Complete and start doing 5 damage per turn. That means it's going to be turn 6 by the time Cauldron Complete kills your opponent. This is Modern. If you don't win by turn 4, you're probably not winning. So while Cauldron Complete is a big, scary thing to put on the board, and it can gum up a board rather nicely, it's not in itself a win con, considering that even though it's indestructible, the token's pretty fragile, and I bet you'll see the Stoneforge Mystic die long before Cauldron Complete comes on the battlefield. So really, Stoneforge Mystic and Cauldron Complete are distractions at best, and removal targets at most. And now, if Cauldron Complete does come down, that puts you in a very good position, but this is still Modern. You might just get absolutely wrecked. I'll go over the other equipments as we run through them. 4 copies of Thalia Garden of Thraden. This is my girl Friday. She comes with me in every tax list ever, except for the black and white Eldrazi list you saw me play earlier if you're a fan of the channel. Now, very simple. It's a legendary human soldier that has First Strike, which people forget about, and also non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. This is a universal effect. It affects you too, but as you can see here, I don't have a lot of non-creature spells. Now, if you're new to Modern or new to Magic in general, or even just new to Constructed, you might look at 1 more to cast a non-creature spell, how backbreaking is that? In something as efficient as Modern, it's super duper backbreaking. 4 copies of Flicker Risk. This is a Swiss Army knife of a card. You can pick up your Stoneforge Mystic and tutor again. You can pick up your Batterskull or Cauldron Complete and make another Germ token. You can pick up your Aether Vial to reset it. You can save something if you Flicker Wisp at instant speed using Aether Vial. It can do anything and everything, and it's also evasive. Wonderful, wonderful card. Is a little weak at 1 toughness and can get killed by almost any piece of removal, but just an absolute house of a card. 4 copies of Skyclave Apparition. Now, in Urian piles, there's 4 copies of Skyclave Apparition and 4 copies of Solitude. Now, before Solitude was printed, Skyclave Apparition was the best piece of removal in this deck. It's still an amazing piece of removal, especially with Restoration Angel and Flicker Wisp. So don't sleep on it because it can grab literally any permanent. And giving your opponent a at worst 4/4 blue token creature is normally irrelevant considering the situation the board's going to be in. A copy of Sword of Fire and Ice gives you protection against most removal. Also, if you put it on something evasive or something like Cauldron Complete, you can just really, really go to town. Or you can just put it on a copy of Stoneforge Mystic and it hits harder, doesn't it? 1 copy of Restoration Angel, again, just a wonderful flash creature, has evasion, can save one of your creatures, can give you more value off of a Skyclave Apparition, just does a million things. Now, this, in my opinion, is the 64th card. This is a 61 card deck. It's just the list I have. We'll go over the pros and cons of that in gameplay, I'm sure. But if I was going to do this list, I would just cut Resto Angel, personal preference. 1 copy of Batterskull, again, just a great Stoneforge Mystic target. Until Cauldron Complete was printed, this was the best piece of equipment without really any argument. Now there's an argument to be made with Cauldron Complete, which is also in the deck. But essentially, Living Weapon, and if you've never run into that before, you just get to create a 0/0 creature that attaches to it, so it's automatically a 4/4 with Vigilance and Lifelink. It also has some other abilities. It equips to other creatures, so if the game's really, really grindy, you can put Batterskull on something with evasion, or you can just save yourself versus burn, or Dredge. Batterskull's great versus Dredge. And for 3, you can return it to your hand to then replay it to have the 4/4 token again, or for 5, you can just put it on another creature. And finally, Cauldron Complete. Cauldron Complete, now, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by Mitgo crashing, Cauldron Complete's a bit of a word pile. It's Living Weapon, so you get to create the Germ token to attach to it immediately. It's indestructible, so it cannot be destroyed by things that say destroy or by damage alone. And also, equipped creature gets +5/+5, has First Strike, Trample, Indestructible, Haste. Whenever this creature deals combat damage, exile that creature that it dealt damage to. It also equips for 7. So again, 99.9% of the time, you're just cheating this out with Stoneforge Mystic and trying to close out the game quickly. Now, super quick about its ability. Because of how First Strike works, unless this deals a full 5 damage to something to then exile the creature goes to the graveyard, not to exile. It's a weird quirk, and I don't think they meant for it to work like that, but that's how it works in reality. Okay, let's go over the land base super quick. We have 1 Ejanto Castle. You'll notice we really only have 1 legendary creature, which is Thalia. Sometimes it can protect Thalia, and there's really no downside to running it. 2 Seat of the Empires, also Ejanto. This allows you to channel and deal 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. So again, it's just a plane with upsides. 4 Field of Ruin to take advantage of Leonin Arbiter, and also just to try and lock your opponent out of the game. 4 copies of Ghost Quarter. These allow you to just blow up lands, and again, if Leonin Arbiter's in play and your opponent's tapped out, they just become strip mines. 10 copies of Plains, just, again, you need basics. Also, when you're running Field of Ruin, it's good to have basics to go grab. And 3 Silent Clearings. These can be any of the white canopy lands. I have them all just because I play a lot of white, but this is what the list had, so I just ran it exactly as is. Okay, moving over to the sideboard, 2 copies of Forge Tender. Protection from red, you can sack it and stop a red source from dealing damage, so you can fizzle a Bolt, you can fizzle an Anger of the Gods. It's just really good in that respect. 3 copies of Rest in Peace, just graveyard stuff, and it's really the best piece of graveyard hate outside of Lion's Sash that you can possibly have in a sideboard. 2 copies of Spirit of the Labyrinth stops people from drawing more than 1 card per turn. As you can see here, the only way we draw an extra card is Sword of Fire and Ice, and if your opponent is drawing a ton of cards or you're playing against control, it's just better to stop everyone from drawing extra cards than to worry about it yourself. 2 copies of Leonin Relic Warder. The reason we run something like this as opposed to just Disenchant is we have Vials, and also we have Flicker effects, so we can always grab stuff. We can double flicker it, and one thing goes away forever, and one thing just goes under the Relic Warder. If that ever comes up in gameplay, I'll explain how and why that works. 2 copies of Sanctum Prelate. I've been incredibly unimpressed with Sanctum Prelate, but, you know, people still like it. Normally you're naming 1 or 2 just to try and lock your opponent out of the game. Another Restoration Angel. Again, when they're good, they're good. 1 Settle the Wreckage is another card that I personally disagree with, because when you have a Thalia out, it costs so much money. But if your opponent's going super duper wide, it's good to have Settle the Wreckage. And 2 copies of Phyrexian Revoker. Whether you want to run Revoker or Pithing Needle is up to you. This guy ran 2 copies of Phyrexian Revoker, and again, with things like Restoration Angel and Flicker Wisp and Aether Vial, you can do funny things with it. And there we have mono white, no solitude, no win con taxes. So how do you win? Essentially, it's death by 1,000 cuts. You're trying to stop your opponent from having anything on board or doing anything and making the game go super duper long, and eventually win with your evasion creatures or your big pieces of equipment. Why does this keep crashing? All right, we have won the first die roll. So let's go ahead and just put that over here. I have said yes. Oh, no, okay. Midco has been acting really weird, so if things seem choppy, that's why. All right, this is a fine hand to keep. We have lands, we have Leonin Arbiter, we have a Ghost Quarter. We don't know what our opponent's on. Now, this deck has great matches against things with really low land count, so Death Shadow, things like that, and really bad matches against Jundy things. Now, Jund isn't really super in the meta right now, but there is a Jund list with like Ragavan and Dragon Rage Channeler that can really run train on us. And again, without Solitude to really efficiently get rid of a lot of those bigger threats, we kind of run behind. Now, with our hand here, we have, 1 into 2 into 3, and then we can hopefully keep flickering Skyclave Apparition to get rid of all of their threats. So let's just go ahead and drop a Plains and yield through the turn. Our opponent did Multi 6, which is good for us. We really don't attack the hand at all. We attack things once they hit the field. All right, Basic Forest into Kumana Speaker. Looks like we're playing against some sort of Merfolk deck. Merfolk with Basic Forest, that has to hurt. All right. We draw an Aether Vial, showing up late to work. It's probably better for us to run out the Arbiter than it is the Aether Vial, and we'll go ahead and yield through the turn. I have to imagine our opponent is going to play some sort of island. Flooded Grove, oof. So they're going to play a Lord? So they're going to turn that into blue-blue. Oh, is this a Mist? Tide Shaper. Okay, so looks like our white source is no longer going to be a white source. Oh, got rid of the... Okay, they're going to learn why that was a mistake. We'll happily take 2. This deck, your life total is fine so long as it's not 0. All right, so we're going to get rid of that Tide Shaper, and they're going to learn why you always cut your opponent off a color. Now, drawing the second Aether Vial hurts real bad, but we get to eat their Tide Shaper, and we'll go ahead and smack in for 2 because we want this Arbiter to stick around. Against the Simic version of Merfolk, they do tend to run fetches. I think it's been a minute since I've run into Simic Merfolk, so I think Leonin Arbiter is slowing them down a little bit. Our opponent has another Flooded Grove. Either that or our Arbiter is not doing anything to their mana source. If they have another Tide Shaper, that would be annoying. Spreading Seas on Ghost Quarter again. They have not learned their lesson, and they're going to let me Skyclave Apparition a second time. All right, so they can really only produce colorless mana, so the attack is pretty safe. We'll go ahead and play Plains, and then we'll go right to combat. So swinging in for 4. Our opponent doesn't block at all. They really don't have a good block right now. Goes to 14. So we can either hold up Restoration Angel and surprise them with Skyclave Apparition, or we can Flicker Wisp now and put down a Vial, which is probably better if this is going to go long. So let's go ahead and Flicker Wisp. Now, we could pick up the Ghost Quarter, or we could pick up Skyclave Apparition and get rid of their Speaker. I think it's better to get rid of their creature because they're a creature-based deck, and we really don't miss Ghost Quarter at all. So they get a 1/1, which is fine. It's not a Merfolk, so it's not going to get Island Walk. And then this comes back, we eat their thing. And now they just have a 1/1, so even if they get a Lord, it's not going to have Island Walk. Okay, so here's one of the Lords that doesn't give any sort of benefit, which is fine by us. I forgot to play Aether Vial because I'm a dum-dum, but I'm pretty sure I didn't punt super duper hard. So we can attack in the air without any downside. We can probably hold up the Resto Angel, so let's just play this out now before I forget. Now note, this is not correct to play that now, but I think we're just going to hit with Flicker Wisp. We're going to wait to see what they do. We have them in a pretty decent spot right now. There's no reason to go super duper fast with Death and Taxes, so we'll just hold up Restoration Angel. The Vial will start clicking up, so if we can find a better win con. Ooh, a Snarl. Are they just not playing any islands? Master of Pearl Trident. So that's fine. So we'll wait for them to attack and then we'll resto. So what we're going to do here is flash out Restoration Angel, which might get them to scoop. Yep, they scoop. Okay, so against Merfolk, Settle seems good. The Restos seem good. That's about it. They really don't have non-creature spells. They don't draw a ton of cards. Their graveyard does nothing. Yeah, they probably play Vile, but that's really narrow. Nothing really to target here, and they're not playing red. So the thing is about a 61 card deck, you can't just flick a card out. You have to put in and out the same number of cards. So what don't I like here? Lion Sash doesn't really do anything. They're not doing that. And they'll probably have anti-artifact stuff now, so taking out one of the artifacts is fine. Settle is such a blowout. We can probably get rid of a Thalia. Again, like at most they have a Coco, so that's probably fine. And we'll put in these two and we'll try it like that. All right, we have some Stone Forges, we have Skyclave, we have Leonin. Now, here's the thing about Leonin Arbiter. You want to make sure you play that after you play your Stone Forges. All right, they open with a Kumana Speaker, which is fine by us. So we get to run out of Plains and a Giver. So it looks like we're playing against some sort of budget Merfolk deck, which I suppose is a good matchup for the budget taxes list. Because if they're playing Snarls, then, they're really not doing a ton. So let's see. That's not what I wanted to see, because they're going to turn our Plains into a Island, which is kind of annoying. We have another Plains, which is fine. They're going to start the beatdowns now. We're going to get probably Cauldra. Settle the Wreckage. Okay, so that's good to have. Let's play this out. And since they're playing a budget deck, I don't think the Arbiter does anything. So we'll just get Stoneforge Mystic, which also allows us to block so long as they don't get a Lord that can have Island Walk. Let's get Cauldron Complete. I don't see them having any way to actually kill our Stoneforge at this point. So if they have a Lord, that's kind of unfortunate, because they can definitely just play a Lord right now and just start doing unblockable damage, and then we kind of have to hope we draw into our fourth land to settle them. Spreading Seas on the Plains. So that's not a good thing at all. The only thing that's really saving us right now is the fact that we have a Silent Clearing. Otherwise, our mana base is just dismantled. They should probably attack. I mean, they'll get 2 damage through, unless they think I'm going to trade Giver of Runes for the Tide Shaper. I am happy with them not attacking. That's great for us. Ooh, we even found an Ajanto. So let's just play this to not take any extra damage. Let's go ahead and just run out Cauldra. Now we have our big thing. Let's go ahead and attack, because once they're unblockable, they're winning the race. So let's see what they do. They choose just to take it. So we have a 3-turn clock, but again, that's not the best thing ever, because if they play Coco right now, then they're really going to be ahead. Yeah, okay, so now it's just a race. We can settle them if they don't turn our Ajanto into an island. It looks like they're... Oh, no, just another master. Okay. So we have to settle next turn. Otherwise, we're just super duper dead. If they have a counter spell, they have a counter spell and we lose. We take 8, go to 10. Right, untap, Batter Skull. Well, that would have been great if they weren't just coming in and wrecking us. So let's just attack with the Germ token. Put them to 10. Now, if we settle them successfully, I bet you they scoop. All right, they can have a lot of things. If they have any counter spell, we are just dead. I am happy if you want to play as many creatures as you want right now. Is this... let's go ahead and give this Pro Blue, just in case, because that's kind of our out. So they tap everything down, which is just the Stoneforge at this point. And after they attack, we settle them. If they have a Spell Pierce, congratulations. I don't think they do, though. So white, blue, settle, targeting our opponent. And our opponent has seen enough. All right. Let's go to game 2. All right, fear not, dear viewers. We have lost the die roll and we have an unkeepable hand. All is right in the universe. This seems better, so we'll keep, and we're even put Batterskull back because we have the Stoneforge to go grab it. Our opponent puts a Leyline of Abundance down. That's scary. Into Verdant Catacombs. Whatever our opponent's doing, it's terrifying. Is it Elves? Bird of Paradise. Okay. I don't think there's a reason to path that. Oh, good. We're going to start drawing all of our equipment. Now I'm super happy I put back the Batterskull. Here's the Giver. So here's the thing about this deck. We look like Hammer Time right now. We played a basic Plains into Giver of Ruin. Our opponent probably thinks we're on Hammer Time. Until we play the Stoneforge Mystic, we can really get away with that. All right, right into an Overgrown Tune. Puts himself to 17. Gets to play a 4-drop. Oh no, just plays a Sylvian Carotid. Are they going to play another Dork? Uh-oh. At the beginning of your upkeep, opponent controls no permanents with bounty counter on them. Okay, so that probably needs to die. Luckily luckily for us, we can kill that at our leisure. Flicker Wisp. Okay, that'll help us reset some stuff. Let's just play out Ghost Quarter for now and play out Stoneforge Mystic. So cat's out of the bag. We'll go ahead and get Alder Complete, which is 99% of the time the correct thing to get. Unless you think your opponent's going to do something where they attack your mana base or you're anywhere close to just hard casting Batterskull. We also have Sword of Fire and Ice already in our hands. So if we needed Sword of Fire and Ice for any reason, we could have grabbed it. So they put the bounty counter on Giver of Runes. We can reset that with Flicker Wisp if they do anything weird. If they just have a Fatal Push now, we'll give Stoneforge Mystic protection from black, Death Touch, sure. So we go for the block, and then we give it Pro Black. If they have the Fatal Push now, they have the Fatal Push now. Oh, okay. We just get to block. They probably thought they could just get that damage through, but I always play the Make Them Have It technique. Speaking of which, do you have anything that can beat a Cauldron Complete opponent? Because I personally don't think you do. Okay, so we also have a path in our hands, so we're going to be aggressive. Even though normally this mono-white Death and Taxes deck, you don't really want to do much aggressive stuff. You really just want to gum the board. But hey, we have a creature they probably can't do a ton about. Protection from blue, return a forest to your hand, untap target creature. Okay, they're going to play something huge. So we're going to hold the path until the absolute last second. Oh no. Oh man. I mean, unless they're just going wide with Leyline of Abundance, but I have to feel like there's a big green dumb thing that's going to try and cause problems. Is this just a prime time? Elish Norn? Wow. Okay, so our board more or less gets wiped. They sure got us. So he gets to gain some life and draw a card, but we need to path Elish Norn. Wow, that is a beating. So clearly our opponent just ramps into big, like, game-ending fatties. Oh, do they have another thing? Just Quirion Ranger, that's fine. So they're going to attack, we're going to path Elish Norn, and then we're going to think long and hard about our lives. Those come in, we path Norn. So we only really take 3, which is a lot better than taking roughly 1 million. They get another forest, which is fine. The problem is they're going wide, and we really don't have a ton to stop them from going wide. There's another Flicker Wisp. So I say what we do is we just attack with the Germ Token. Our Flicker Wisp really doesn't do anything to our opponent right now. So I actually think we'll do better if we play out Sword of Fire and Ice and hope that they just don't draw anything particularly useful. We're really just hoping that they draw a land. Now, they get to go nuts with Leyline of Abundance, but there's really not much we can do about that. And they're going so wide, and our deck is just not designed to do that, that we really need to close this game out, like, now. Oh, what? So yeah, they're just going wide. So good thing we have that settle, but it looks like they're just leylining. Because they can leyline a couple times with the Rangers, yeah. So they're going wide. There's not a ton we can do about that. And next turn, we're just going to sword. And I guess we're just dealing sword damage to face, which is almost lethal, mind you, but it is not lethal. So what do we go to? Because we're getting the bejeebus kicked out of us. So we go to 8. So we actually have to attack a creature, which kind of sucks. A land would be great. Okay, so we're going to get to have a Thalia as defense. Let's go ahead and just attach the Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay, so 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we kill 1, they can deal 8. We have Thalia. I think we have to attack. If we just try and be on the defensive here, we lose. So let's actually wait until after combat to attack with Thalia, or to play Thalia, in case we find another path, which might just be better. So we have to kill something. So all of these Rangers do the same thing. I guess we take one of the flying ones. If we had a way of dealing 1 more damage, we could have just gone face, but we drew a Lion Sash. That's not better. So we'll just play out Thalia and try and survive this next swing, because they're going to have, so we block 1 and they go 3, 6, 10. So that's still lethal. So they should have us. Was that just a fatal push? If they just have a way of killing Thalia, we just die. But they're hesitant on what they're doing. Jeruthi Voidwalker. I mean, that's win more. They're untapping the creature. They should be able to leyline and kill us, I think. Interesting. 3, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, that's still lethal. I guess that was a better way of doing it. If they tap another creature, oh, then again, they have more forest to bounce in their hands, so they're just finding another way to kill us, but they definitely have us dead to rights, I believe. But we'll let them swing out, see if they make a mistake. We'll just block that. I'm pretty sure they still deal 8, but let's see what happens here. All right, and they get us exactly. So against things that go wide, we want settle. See, again, we talked about this in the burn video. When you play off-meta stuff like our opponent's doing, I, as a player, really don't have much I can do to them, because my sideboard is set up for meta things, and once you start doing things that aren't in meta, I kind of fall apart, especially in a meta of assassination deck like this deck is. But I don't think they're doing anything graveyard related. We could probably take out Lion Sash. We're going to be on the play, so Leonin Arbiter is fine. So we can bring this in to try and stop them from going wide and kind of just blow them out. We can take out one Thalia because they're really not doing that and replace it with a Resto, and I think that's all we want to do. All right, so we get to go first. We already have the Batter Skull, but we can go get Cauldra or other important things. So turn 1 Vial, turn 2 Stoneforge, turn 3 Cauldra is fine. I mean, they go super wide, but Cauldra is big and bad and hopefully scares them a bit. Our opponent deciding if they're going to keep their opening 7. They mulligan to 6 again. So it really just seemed like they're heavily reliant on, you know, getting things out super quick. That being said, Elish Norn wrecks attacks his deck because all of our stuff has very little toughness. All right, so turn 1, play out the Vial, which is as close to an ideal turn 1 as you can get with this deck. All right, our opponent, do they have a Dork? They do have a Dork. So we both had kind of ideal turn 1s. We charge our Vial. If we draw a core, we don't. Play out Ghost Quarter, play out Stoneforge Mystic, go get the Cauldra, and that's going to be our next turn is the Cauldra. If we draw a 2-drop, so if we draw an Arbiter, that would actually be great, but me don't think so. What's their 3-drop going to be? A Morph. Okay, I actually don't know what that is. Their deck is so interesting that I guess it could be like a Rattleclaw or something, or a Den Protector even. Field of Ruin. We are not going to use the land, are we? So let's just play out Silent Clearing, and we'll go ahead and just get out Cauldra and start dealing damage. And next turn, we'll get out Beast Skull. Let's chip on in for 5. And again, you're seeing that Stoneforge Mystic was banned in Modern for the longest time because of Batter Skull, and we've even gotten an objectively better creature in Cauldra Complete, and it still just doesn't close out games. You've seen me get the most ideal of ideal turns here, and I still don't have them. What is our opponent doing here? Oh, they're just hard casting a Leyline. Okay, so that sure is a thing. We get to have a Flicker Wisp on defense now, though. Let's charge this up. An Arbiter. Okay, that changes my plans a bit. So what we can do is put a stop on our end step. Now you want to do things on your end step because Flicker Wisp says you can do things on, or things come back on the next end step. So if you're doing it on your end step, your opponent doesn't get it for their entire turn. So let's play out Field of Ruin. Let's attack with Phyrexian Germ Token and get him for 5. Put him to 6. And then if we play out Arbiter and then we blow up a Tomb and then we go to our end step and we pick up their Leyline, it kind of cuts them off of a lot of mana. So we'll just pick up Leyline so they don't get it on their turn. And that should close out the game. A lot of moving parts to Death and Taxes. It is not nearly as good or as simple as another deck I play, Burn. I highly recommend you watch that video of mine if you're interested in getting started in Burn. This is also a very basic getting started in Taxes video. If you've played Taxes for a long time, I probably don't have anything to teach you, but if you're just interested in getting started with Taxes, you're in the right place. Our opponent plays out a Quirion Ranger and is probably seeing if they have any way of not taking lethal right now. We also have another Flicker Wisp, which can just pick up a blocker, so we'll see what's going on here. Opponent in the tank a little bit, not terribly surprising. Taxes is a really hard deck to play against because there are just so many things going on at once here. This looks like a Voidwalker, which again is a bit of a win more. Untapping target creature. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than that. 3, ooh, no. What is this? Whatever creature can target a spell or ability, destroy that creature. Lying. Okay, so this just turns our Flicker Wisp into a temporary blink. Okay, so here's a question. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. So does that mean when I target something with Flicker Wisp dies? Or when I target something with Flicker Wisp dies? We're gonna find out together because I don't know the answer. Leave it alone. I'm gonna ask my opponent. Okay, so we'll go ahead and tick this up for, now we'll leave it at 3 because we want the Flicker Wisp to do things. So we should just be able to kill our opponent here. So if we flicker, I mean, either Harabi dies or he just goes away for half a second. So who dies here? Does Flicker Wisp die or does the Death Wall die? Now, I could probably look this up, but it's a lot quicker to just do it. Oh, okay. So, oh, they're doing the Quirion Ranger thing, but okay. But I did kill their thing. Okay, that's fine. So can I win? I mean, I guess I could just attack with Aldra and the Leonin Arbiter because I want to Batter Skull anyway. Okay, so they are just gonna stay alive alive, stay alive. There goes their Quirion Ranger. They go to 1. There's no reason for us not to run out Giver. I mean, it's just a blocker, essentially. Okay, so they play the Forest they put out. Unless they do something particularly impressive, I believe we have them this game, and we go to game 3. But I'm going to find out same time you do. All right, they have another Ranger, but I don't see how they stop Cauldra at this point, who has Trample. All right, so we'll do this. We'll play out Mr. B Natural. All right, we should be pretty good. But our opponent's deck is ridiculously spicy, and it got us once, so gotta respect our opponent's off-meta, you know, scary pile, if we're being honest. Okay, so we don't know what our opponent could have a Fog, I guess. So we'll just go ahead and attack as is. Let's do this and see what they do. I knew they weren't just gonna let us win here. So they have to have some sort of shenanigan. Ooh, Fortune Thief. That is a interesting sort of thing. So I guess they just stay at 1. What do we do then? We have to get Fortune Thief off the field, I guess. But for now, we can trade in our Field of Ruin for their Tomb and just try and start, because we have to find a Flicker Wisp, one of our Resto Angels, or a Path now, because that's how we stop Fortune Thief. Again, our opponent's deck is super spicy, but we need to find targeted removal now. Another Leyline, which is scary. The good news is once we do find targeted removal, we can just make Fortune Thief go away. Okay, leave that at 3 for now, because we have more Flicker Wisps than we have. Actually, we have identical, if I'm being honest. But I am just going to leave that at 3 and play out Aether Vial, unless we find, you know, the removal. Nah, we're good. Another Arbiter. Well, that doesn't actually do anything. So we'll play out the Vial, and I guess we just pass and we try and find our answer next turn. Now that we have 2 Vials, and we'll have one on 3, and we'll probably leave the other one at 2 until we find a Resto Angel. But right now, our opponent's top decks are a lot better than ours. And this goes back to how this deck is not good against Jundi things. Because they're, you know, if you go 1 for 1, we really don't have mass creature removal outside of Field of Ruin. But, you know, right now, if they want to start chipping in for 1, I'll let them. I'm not going to trade my Flicker Wisp. I kind of need that. I guess Sword of Fire and Ice also saves us, because that kills Fortune Thief. So we have a lot of answers. We just need to find literally any of them. So tick up the first Vial. Leave the other one on 3. Hopefully find... we found Ejanto, which is the definition of fine. Let's go ahead and crack Clearing now. There's a Settle, which also does nothing at this exact moment. So we'll go ahead and pass. I mean, really at this point, they're just trying to find, like if they find an Elish Norn, we're super screwed. Shalai. I believe the term is oof. Shalai is indeed an oof, because they're going to start chipping in with Shalai now. Also, that gives their things hexproof. So now we have to find 2 pieces of removal. So we'll tick one up to 2. We'll leave the other one at 3. We drew a Ghost Quarter. So let's play Ghost Quarter, because if they attack with Shalai, we can Ijano. But for right now, there's not a ton we can do. We'll flash out the Arbiter in a second. And if they happen to attack with Shalai, Flicker Wisp can still block. More lands, that's not the worst. Oh, but whatever this is not going to be good. Ugh. So who's important here? Who is important? So I guess before this happens, we want to give Flicker Wisp protection from green to stop them from doing it on their turn. They're gonna start just shooting our things down though, which isn't, yeah, they can kill 2 things a turn. So now we're really doing Settle or Bust. And I don't even think they'll be silly enough to attack with Fortune Thief, but we'll find out together. I mean, again, I don't mind losing to these off-meta decks because he had to play against a deck like mine to even get close to winning, because I take so long to win. And again, you saw turn 3, Cauldron Complete came down, and we didn't win the game. It's just something that happens. So, who are they killing? They're killing the Phyrexian Germ Token, which is fine. That we can always put back to our hand. They're gonna kill the Arbiter or the Stoneforge. They're not doing anything. Okay, so flash out Arbiter, and then we tick up both. Actually, we can't, because Resto Angel's gonna kill whatever we target. So we literally need Flicker Wisp right now. So no and no. We need We need removal. Thalia. Thalia does Bupkis. We have to play out... we have to play out a Jono here. Because we really are on Settle or Bust, which means we can't really play out Thalia, which is also kind of annoying. But yeah, so our Giver of Runes can just blow up our creatures. They get to pick off one of our creatures a turn, and we have to hope we draw a land. The good news here is they don't really have a ton of great attacks. Also, that means our Batter Skull can't equip anything. So what are they killing this time? They're killing the Flicker Wisp, which is correct. Nothing we can really do about that. So we take quite a bit of damage a turn now. Yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. I'm just waiting for Elish Norn at this point, and then I think we can safely scoop. Sylvan Caryid, that's fine. Swinging with the Flyers? Yep. Or just that. Okay, so they're still respecting my ability to do shenanigans. So we can't play Thalia because of the aforementioned problem with Settle. We draw a Silent Clearing. Okay, so that'll turn Settle on. Looks like we're really only going to get their Harabi Death's Wail, which is fine. I don't know why they're not killing more of my creatures with their Rangers, but I mean, yeah, they can only activate it once each turn, but that means they can activate it on their turn. Come on, attack with Shalai. Yes! Okay, so this helps us a bit. Settle. Oh no, they have Shalai, which means Settle doesn't work. That's brutal. They have Hexproof, and Settle has to target an opponent. So we need to find removal pretty badly now. So if we draw... I guess we have to just draw. We have to tick these both. No, we can't tick them up. No. Path. Okay, that's literally what we needed. The question is, do we live? So we deal them 3, or 4, 5, 6, 7 probably. Okay, so we have to let them have a turn, and then hopefully we can path Shalai, and then the next turn Settle. All right, so they're pumping now. All right, so they're going to swing with their attacker with their Flyers again, and we can ping off Shalai now. If they have something that gives Shalai hexproof, then they just win, and there's nothing we can do about that. All right, so path Shalai. Do they get to save Shalai somehow? Oh no, they're just going to put tokens on stuff again. Oh no, they're just ignoring Leonin Arbiters. Sure, guess they really want that land. So I'm going to take 7, go to 3, which is unfortunate. They're killing Stoneforge finally, which is fine. Finally realizing that they can kill my creatures. little late to the party, but they found the line. They're killing an Arbiter. That's also fine. All right, so Resto now does nothing. Did it like this. Another Thalia. There was ever a moment to have cut a card. It's the Thalia. So I'm pretty sure they saw through our bluff here, and they know we have a Settle, so they'll probably stall the game out a little bit more, but we still need to find our targeted removal still to get through this. Yep, still killing stuff. Still nothing I can do about it. And the thing is, too, they can just attack with Scrib Ranger, and I kind of have to Settle now, which still gives them a 5/5 flyer that they can use to kill me with. Because I see no reason why they would attack with anything more than Scrib Ranger. So, actually, I guess technically this deck is Jundin we lost, so I'm not a liar. Our deck is just way too slow to stop this grindy prison pile, which, again, I salute my opponent. So he should just attack with Scrib Ranger. Oh, you hate to see it. All right, they got something big and scary. Or they're just putting 1/1 tokens on everything to murder me next turn, which, again, fair. I mean, if this is like a Genesis wave or something, I'll stand up and clap. Kozilek! Wow. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, draw 4. B-a-g-a-d. Ugh. All right, so now what do we do? Our 2-drops really don't do anything. I guess we leave these as is, and if I draw Resto Angel, everyone gets to make fun of me in the comments. A path. All right, let's think this through. So if I get rid of Fortune Thief, then they have to block with everything. Okay, so then that's 5 equipped. So we might as well Thalia and then attack with the Phyrexian Germ token. Don't see how they get out of this. Tap target creature. Oh, that's how they get out of it. Okay, I think we still die because we're at 2. It's fine. So we get rid of the 2 creatures. We can block Kozilek with Thalia and blow up all of our lands. And then we die to Scrib Ranger. Okay. I guess we should have attacked, let them not block. So we probably misplayed that. We should have attacked, they would have not blocked, and then we would have pathed that guy. Okay, so before Annihilator 4 happens, we give up on Silent Clearing. Hopefully we find a path. We find an Arbiter. Okay, so we die. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we die. Oh well. We were close. We were close. We should have tried to bluff with the thief, but oh well. Let's go on to a game 3. All right, game 3. We have won the die roll. Let's see here. Turn 1, Giver into turn 2, Thalia into turn 3, Skyclave. Seems good to me. Let's see, our opponent kept 7, so we're going to run out the Giver and then see what our opponent is up to. They start with a Swamp. They just got a Fatal Push Giver. Expedition map off of Swamp. It has been a very interesting recording day, folks. Oh, man. Let's go with Ghost Quarter into Thalia. I mean, I guess with whatever our opponent's doing, Thalia might be annoying. All right, so we'll leave Giver up to protect Thalia from whatever nonsense our opponent's up to. Oh, is this the mono black Urborg deck that just makes a ton of mana? The one on MTG Goldfish that's just called like B half the time. All right, our opponent had nothing. We could take the thing off our end step for the moment. We don't have any. All right, opponent turn 2. Actually, this would have been better as a Arbiter since they have the map, but they're going to be able to go find probably Urborg and then just start the clown music, I think. They play a Blast Zone, they crack map. Blast Zone is going to get us. Yeah, Urborg. So here's the thing. We have Field of Ruin and Ghost Quarter. There's a Flicker. I've never actually played against the deck our opponent's playing, so I think what we do is we play Field of Ruin. So next turn they play Urborg, they have 3 swamps, or we can blow up Blast Zone. I don't know if this is right, I'm being honest. I'm just going to get rid of Blast Zone. We can blow up Urborg with Ghost Quarter, but at least this way we have a land, and they can just not blow up all of our stuff with Blast Zone. We'll swing in for 2 with Thalia, and then we'll play out Giver and have multiple Givers, which should be helpful. But I didn't want to lose my board to a Blast Zone. All right, so here comes Urborg, I think. I don't know if they'll run it out into the Ghost Quarter, though. Nope, they're just playing a swamp. What do you have here? Hopefully something that can get Skyclaved. Oh, nope, must be an instant of some sort. Opponent's tapping and untapping, thinking oh, okay, because it cost 1 more because of Thalia. So whatever they were trying to do cost exactly 3, and the Thalia screwed up their math. Unfortunately for them, I have a Skyclave Appetizer, which will allow me to yoink their map. They can't actually play anything right now because of Thalia, and again, neither can we, but yanking their map is pretty nice. So whatever you were looking to get, you're not getting it now, and we swing in with Thalia. And here goes back to my no win con taxes joke. I'm in a dominant position, it's turn 4, and I can still get blown out. I'm really just death by 1,000 cutting here. My creatures are pretty protected because the Giver of Ruins. I'm stopping them from doing what they want to do, but they have 6 cards in hand, I have 2. So that means it's going to take 10 turns of just chipping in with Thalia to beat them, which isn't really a great win con in Modern, if we're being honest. It's just too slow, and again, that's unfortunate because I love taxes, I really do. But the fact that it's a hard deck to play, it's a harder deck to win with. And there's so many times where you make the wrong decision. You even saw it in the last game where I just attacked wrong. And there are decks that are a lot more forgiving than mono white taxes. So you really have to like mono white taxes in order to want to play it. Okay, here finally comes Urborg. So what are they doing? Oh, it's just a Lily. That's fine. We can give up on a core. Or if they make us discard. Okay. Let's give up on Flicker then and keep Path. I wish I knew more. I know what this deck is. I've never played against it, so I don't actually know what they're trying to do. I don't know if Path is dead or not. All right, we're actually going to give up on Path. I lied. And we're going to use Flicker Wisp to develop our board. But considering next turn we can just kill Lily, I think it's fine. Another Ghost Quarter. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll play Ghost Quarter, we'll kill Lily, and we'll just run out Flicker Wisp, pick up Thalia so it can block again. And then I think we're going to kill Urborg, because I know whatever they're trying to do, they're trying to do it with Urborg. So we'll just turn that into a basic swamp for protection reasons. So we get our Thalia back. And now we're dealing 7 damage per turn, which is pretty okay, but at any point, something like that can happen. So now they can invoke, I think. Wrath. We just got dismantled. That's really bad. All right, so let's draw Skyclave Appetizer. So I think we have to kill this thing. I realize we're really doing a number on our own life total, but this is what happens when you don't know what your opponent's doing. I am a big enough man to say the first time I play against most decks, I tend to lose. Especially when you're playing a known deck like I am, because they know what I'm doing. I have an idea of what they're doing, but they're a big mana deck. I'm a mana denial deck. That's not a good combo. If they play a Lily, we look like an idiot. We really need to find like a Stoneforge Mystic or something of that nature, because I feel like they're getting to do everything they want to do, and we're sitting here and doing very little. Okay, a Karn, that's fine. He'll probably go get an Ensnaring Bridge. What is he getting? Like a Torpor Orb? Torpor Orb would also be a fine thing to play against me. Now, what I could do at this point is just look at their deck list, but for the sake of newer players, I'm showing you what to do when you don't know what your opponent's doing. But if you're in the same position I'm in and you're not playing it online, like if you're playing in a tournament, like in a store, they're not just going to let you like go look online to your opponent's deck list. You're just going to have to deal with it. So chances are you're not going to be playing online. You're going to be playing in a store. So Walking Ballista for 1. That's surprising. I thought they would have given that a minute. So now my Skyclave Apparition is a bit of a head scratcher as to exactly what to do, because I don't want them to be able to get another card out of their sideboard, but I'm not going to get a better chance to kill Walking Ballista than I am right now. Cauldron Complete, you suck. All right. So as much as this hurts and feels kind of wrong, I'm going to get rid of Karn, because whatever's in that sideboard, especially when he has 6 mana, can probably do some pretty heavy damage. So let's go ahead and just nip Karn, and then cross our fingers really hard that we draw into quite literally anything useful. Also, if we draw a Flicker Wisp, the Walking Ballista is just dead. So again, crossing fingers pretty hard here. They could just tap 4 mana next turn and kill Skyclave Apparition, but I feel like you wait 2 turns and you just see if you can kill it and keep your Walking Ballista. But I have a feeling that their win con is Walking Ballista, Invoke Despairs, things like that. So probably our removal's not great, I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet we need things like the Revokers and stuff like that. But for now, we'll just get rid of Karn, and we'll hope we can find really the Stoneforge Mystic to then go get Cauldron and hopefully close out the game with Cauldron. Then again, they're playing Liliana the Veil, which counters Cauldron pretty good. But you know, you gotta play with the cards you brought to the table. And again, we're bringing a budget version of a tier 4 deck. So this is the life I choose to lead. Now, you might ask the question, Brian, on your first video back in like a month, why did you choose to play a really hard deck? And I would tell you, dear viewer, it's because I'm not very smart. You know, I do really good with like easy to play red aggro decks, or I could do this. This is also an option. I can choose to spend my time doing this. Oh god, invoke. So target evokes, sacrifices a creature, so they get a 4/4. All right. They get to draw 2 cards. We lost some life. I mean, they're in a commanding position now because we have a 7-drop in our hands and three lands in play. Bajuka Bog, that's fine. We don't actually do anything with our graveyard. So there goes our graveyard. Zoop. Fine by us. And now we hope to draw Stoneforge Mystic, which is also kind of unfortunate because they could just kill it with Walking Ballista, but I don't think we're quite in scooping range yet. Don't get me wrong, we're real close. But if we start finding Flicker Wisps, we can start doing things. Or we can draw an Aether Vial. Aether Vial is also an option. So we have 2 turns? Or even not even quite, because they can just throw face with the Ballista. All right, what does our opponent do? Plays an Urborg. So we now know that they're trying to Urborg and Cabal Coffers into just really big spells to essentially run face. That sucks. It's not like Cauldron Complete was doing anything anyway. Although if our next card is Stoneforge Mystic, I'm going to be a little sad. They should really just pump Ballista and swing for 7. Because then we have to kind of crack clearing. Or they can do that. Oh, and then they go get Cabal Coffers and they can do it for 1 million. Okay, we also now get to talk about the fact that Phyrexian Revoker can't name a land card and Pithing Needle can. Although it's a mana spell, an ability, so that also can't be stopped. Brutality. Okay, so let's think of our outs here as we go to what should be 5, but they're gonna not pump. We have to kill Ballista, so I don't think we can kill the clearing in case we happen to draw Flicker Wisp. We drew a Path. Okay, I can dig it. So this actually doesn't save us. Let's see if our opponent realizes that. They didn't. They didn't hit us, because they could have hit us for the 1 damage, saved their thing, and then just attacked for lethal, but they must have another way of killing us. They must have like an Invoke Despair or, you know, one of the big black spells that just deals 1 million damage. All right, there's the Coffers. What's their final card? Or final 2 cards? Because I feel like we should be super dead. I mean, if they just want to style on us too, that's totally fine. I mean, I get it. He's going for the attack then? Okay, so playing to our outs again. I don't think we crack Silent Clearing because the only thing we could find is a Giver, and the Giver doesn't really do a ton. So let's draw and see what we want to do here, because we're going to have to chump the Illusion spell one way or another. A Path. Fascinating. So we'll go ahead and pass. Oh, but the path doesn't actually save us because they have a 1/1. Ha 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 ha. Opponent plays Castle Lochthwain. Inquisition. Well, we have to do this now then, don't we? Boop. So we get rid of their path, or we path their illusion token. They can get another land if they want. They go to swing in. We have to crack Silent Clearing and hope we find a 2-drop. So we have to find a Thalia or an Arbiter. And if we do, we live another day, but we're at 1. So, I mean, we'll try. We have outs. So go ahead and swing, big guy. All right. If we find a 2-drop, we look super smart. Plains, nope, that doesn't do it. All right, going to sideboard. Okay, this is interesting. So Revokers are good. If I knew our opponent's deck a little bit more, the Prelates would even be fine. What's bad? Paths aren't that great. Lion Sash is okay. Arbiters are fine. Thalia's amazing. Skyclaves are really good. Vials are really... So a Lion Sash for a Revoker feels fine, but then what? Maybe a Path for the other Revoker, because spot removal shouldn't be where we want to be right now. The Relic Warders also seem okay, but that's like the Karn thing. They could just kind of respond to. Maybe take out the Restoration Angel and put in a Relic Warder. That might be better. Anything else we want to do? I mean, sort of Fire and Ice only seems mid as well, because it doesn't give any protection, and our creatures feel a little fragile. So if we take out Sword for the other Relic Warder and try and respond to their threats like that, and essentially, if you're wondering what our game plan is, it's just draw Stoneforge Mystic. All right, we get to go first. This is fine. Not amazing, but it has things to do, and we have Field of Ruins to kill their lands. So Giver, and then next turn into Thalia. And then the turn after that, we can Revoker naming Karn or Liliana, depending on where we see this going. Please don't have hand disruption, please. I asked nicely. Ah, okay, well, they get to make the decision for us if we're going to play Revoker or Thalia. So if they have a Planeswalker, they'll probably take... actually, Thalia slows them down a little bit, too, so they might just take Thalia. Oh, they took the Revoker, so they have either Lily or Karn in hand. All right, and draw. Batterskull, you're absolutely useless. All right, Thalia, here we go. Okie dokie. We'll just leave up Giver to protect Thalia. Castle Lochthwain. All right, so they can still do things and stuff. We'll have to leave our Field of Ruins for Profane Tutor. Okay, that's fine, because we have a Thalia, so that makes that kind of annoying. Another Giver. So let's play Field of Ruin. Let's play Giver, and then let's attack with Thalia. So now our creatures are pretty much protected from everything but a Wrath. I mean, Batterskull is not totally uncastable, especially if they kill Thalia. There's the Urborg. Another Thoughtseize. That's unfortunate. There goes Batterskull. Thalia must be stopping them from playing whatever Planeswalker is in their hand. Ghost Quarter. Interesting. So I think what we do here is we attack first, because they can't do anything anyway. Knock them to 12. Then we blow up their Urborg. Their Coffer isn't as powerful. Then we play our Ghost Quarter, and then we just pass. And if they play Coffer down, the minute we get priority, we blow it up with Ghost Quarter. Okay, so they have to pay 1 for the Profane Tutor now because of Thalia. And hopefully that screws up their math, because they'll probably go get Cabal, but we can blow that up. They shouldn't really play out Cabal either, because we have Field of Ruin. Opponent's deep in the tank. If you actually look at the times here, we are like almost 10 minutes ahead of them as far as thought process goes. Invoke Despair enters the exile zone. So what, are they griefing? Why did Invoke Despair enter the exile zone? Game? Why did Invoke Despair enter the exile zone? Oh, March of Wretched Sorrow. So protection from black, which fizzles your life gain if that's what you were doing. No reason to Ghost Quarter. Leonin Arbiter. Well, that changes things. So Silent Clearing, Leonin Arbiter. Opponent might scoop. They're thinking kind of hard right now. So the super secret tech of Mono White Death and Taxes, and this is only for Mitgo, mind you, this does not work in real life, is the time kill. Because our opponent is taking so much time to try and figure out just what we are doing that they're already at 6 minutes, 30 seconds as I finish this sentence. So, I mean, we're gonna blow up probably Castle Lochthwain now. Thank you, and goodbye. Okay, cool. So now we attack with Thalia. They're down to 2 lands. We have a Thalia in play. All of our creatures are protected. We are in good shape. Now, if you were the mono black player right now, you should really scoop and try and win the final game in 6 minutes. The more time they spend trying to win from this position is detrimental to their cause. Now, if they win this game, I'm wrong. So, you know, clip me, quote me. If they win this game, what they're doing now is correct. However, at 2 mana, when I have a full board and full protection for my creatures, and it's going to take them a minimum of 3 turns to set up a Wrath, doesn't seem super correct, at least to me. But, you know, I'm a YouTuber, not a lawyer, so take my words with a grain of salt. Let's see, what's this 2-drop they're playing out? Turak. Well, now we have to give things pro-black just to swing through that, which is unfortunate. That really slows us down. The question is, I guess we do crack this and try and find like a Flicker Wisp or something. Another Ghost Quarter. Okay, that's actually fine. So here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna play Ghost Quarter. We're going to kill their Swamp. We're gonna kill their Bojuka Bog. And now they can only possibly play one spell. So we're gonna give Thalia pro-black, and we're gonna swing in and hit them. Again, their position is getting worse and worse, and they're about to be under 5 minutes. So again, if you are the black player, you should really be looking at your clock, and you should really be debating, can I win from this position? Can I beat my opponent in 5 minutes in game 3? Oh, they're about to learn a lesson. Yep, Leonin Arbiter. Their shame scoop? No fear. No fear from the mono black player. Skyclave Appetizer. That can't actually target our opponent, right? But I think we play this out. We can only deal 6 damage, so let's deal the 4. They go to 3, and I think we do run out the Apparition with no target just to have another body on the field, and we pass over to our opponent. The reason we did that is we didn't want them to play a Swamp and then play Hand Disruption and grow Turak. So is there no fear attack again? Okay. So here's the thing. Our opponent is in a bad place and they're not scooping right now. Oh, no, there it is. I was going to say, if they don't scoop, I don't think we go for lethal. I think we go for the time kill. So let's go to the sideboard and see what we want to do for game 3. Okay, now again, what I'm about to say only works on mid-go. It does not work in person unless you're playing for the draw. We are now trying to play for the time kill. We're no longer playing for, you know, the actual kill. We have a very high chance of getting them, not through dealing damage. We take a long time to deal damage. We have a chance of killing them just because they're going to run out of time. It's a really weird situation, but with taxes, it's a legitimate win con. So, I think Sanctum Prelate's too slow. The paths really don't do anything, especially against Torax. We can take those out. We can put the 2 restos in. And what do we want to put? We can put the sort of Fire and Ice in. That wouldn't be the worst thing. So again, our win con now is to try and make our opponents do a lot of math and essentially run out of time because they only have 4 minutes. So we have turn 1 Giver into turn 2 Thalia into turn 3 Skyclave, which seems fine. Our opponent finds a basic Swamp, probably has Hand Disruption, which will take the Thalia. Yep, Inquisition. Taking Thalia, I'd have to assume. But that's fine. Turn 1 Giver into turn 2 Giver isn't the worst. And we can't play around Hand Disruption, really. So here's Giver. Yield through the turn. All right, what's our opponent's turn 2? Another Swamp. There's finally the Fatal Push we've been waiting for all game. Another Inquisition. How about that? Don't know what they did. They could take the Giver and just leave us no turn 2 play. Oh, they take the Flicker Wisp. Okay. Relic Warder. That could be useful later, but it's definitely not something to play right now. So let's play the Ghost Quarter in case we need to do something and just play out the Giver and yield through the turn. There's the Coffer. You probably have to kill that with Ghost Quarter. Turak, nothing we can do about that, but let's kill this while we can. Sure, they get another Swamp, but we can't let them really get ahead of us like that. Oh, Brian, you fool. Actually, we have the Relic Warder, so it's fine. Yoink. That's mine now. And we just pass the turn. All right, they're going to get in for 2. They really can't be on defense, even though in a normal game, they should probably be on defense, just because they don't have the time. Cauldra, it's absolutely useless right now. I'm going to save Skyclave for my hand. Just get in with the Relic Warder. Because if they get a Karn or something, I want to get rid of Karn. Or Voidwalker. I don't need their clock to be fast. So they get in for 2. There is a Revoker. I don't think that's what we want to be right now. I think we just want to get rid of the Voidwalker and slow their clock down. Because their clock is literally their clock. It's not dealing damage. It has a lot to do with the fact that they only have 1:52 to deal me 16 damage. Ooh, Scourge. That's a thing. Oof. Can't do anything about that. Resto, but I can't cast it. So I think we Revoker, naming Liliana. We have to leave Giver on defense, I think. So let's just pass the turn. Didn't even attack. Ooh, okay. That's pretty good. So now if they tap out, I get to blow up a land. We just pass. They have 1:22. Jukabog. That's okay. We do nothing with our graveyard anyway. And that takes a lot of seconds off their clock, to be honest. And every second counts. All right. So we'll just block with Appetizer, give it pro black, take 2, and draw a Thalia, which is pretty good. We can save the... we probably have to leave 2 creatures up for defense, so that means we can attack for 6. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Act like that. And then play Thalia. We have 57 seconds left, and we're also not in a bad spot, if we're being honest. Damnation. So, our hand is pretty awful right now. Let's go ahead and blow up one of their swamps while we still have Arbiter. And I guess this just resets the board. They have a 2/2 in 30 seconds. And we have Bupkis. Oh, we have a Silent Clearing. Let's go ahead and pass. We're going to pass through this turn too. They have 20 seconds to kill us. There's Karn. That's a good way to kill us in 20 seconds. I think we have the win here. I don't think they can get us in 10. Heart of Kieran. Yeah, no. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we have won this match. Keep an eye on your clock, folks, or you just might get timed out by a Taxes player who's played this deck way too much. All right. We are 2-1. Let's go on to match 4. All right. We have won the die roll. And turn 1 Vial into turn 2 Thalia into a whole bunch of lands. If we don't draw any more lands, this is great, but we really need to draw gas from here. Ajano kind of counts as a spell as well, and we don't have to play it anytime soon because we have 2 basic planes. All right, and Vial and Yield. Ooh, Tron. We, in theory, are good against Tron. We're not going to run out Field. We don't want them to see it. We don't want them to see that coming, but we will run out Thalia. We drew a Resto, which is good. And even if they play out the other Tron piece, we get to blow stuff up with Field of Ruin. And Eldrazi Temple. Ugh, here comes Matter Reshaper. Or not. Oh, did I screw up their math with Thalia? I may have. All right, what do we draw? Another Vial. That's painful and awful, and I hate it. So, Field of Ruin, and we attack. And then I guess we blow up the Eldrazi Temple? I mean, if they just get Tron now, they get Tron now, we feel bad. A Blast Zone. Well, that's a thing. They should have a Wastes or 2. Yeah, they have a Wastes. Really cool looking Wastes. Haven't seen that in person yet. There's the Blast Zone, which will probably blow up our Vial. Luckily, we have multiple in hand. There's the Matter Reshaper. Knew that was going to show up eventually. So I think we tick this up to 3. Skyclave Appetizer. Okay, so what that means is we do play out this so we can play the Resto. I think we do this now just to give them pressure. So we Skyclave, get rid of the Shaper, which stops them from getting a prize out of it because it gets exiled. And now we attack with Thalia. And even if they Thought Not Seer, we can Resto the Skyclave Apparition. The only thing we can't Skyclave is Matter Reshaper. Or not Matter Reshaper. What's the 5/5 trample one? I play a lot of Eldrazi and I can't remember its name. I'm sure someone in the comments has told me and they haven't at all been sarcastic. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. And I can say guys, because according to YouTube, just dudes watch this channel, which not terribly surprising. Which member dismember? Well, too bad for you. I have a Restoration Angel. That's a nice... This guy has a blinged out deck. Oh, seems like he's done. All right, against E-Tron. So Revoker's good. What's bad? Lion Sash again, you don't do anything and we're putting in more artifacts. Path is great, Giver is good. Arbiter is, it's not great on the draw, is it? We could probably nip 2 Arbiters, but like what do we want to put in instead? Relic Warder's okay. They have some artifacts. Is there anything else I want to take out? I guess I can nip 1 last Arbiter and just put in this. 2 Revokers, 2 Relic Warders for Karn shenanigans. Sanctum Prelate's okay. It's not as good as against normal Tron because they don't have as many 1-drop things, but it's okay. And I think the rest of our deck is just fine as is. So let's try this. All right, a whole bunch of removal, which isn't bad against our opponent, and 2 Stone Forges. We're gonna keep this because we can answer what they're doing and hopefully get down a Cauldra. All right, what's their turn 1? Power plant into a map. Relic of Progenitus, sure. That just represents a redraw. That is an egg. Here is our Jano. If they play a second Tron piece, we have to Ghost Quarter, but other than that, we can just kind of path what they're doing. They played a second Tron piece into Chalice on 1. Ugh. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. We have a second Ghost Quarter. I think we don't have to get Stoneforge Mystic right now. So let's blow up the tower. They can get a waste. At least they don't have 7 mana next turn. And then we can Stoneforge into Cauldra. And that should stop most of what they do. Urza's Saga. That's unfortunate. Matter Reshaper? Okay. That's fine. That's not the scariest thing. Yep, that's fine. I'll exile a card and be happy about it. Okay, so we play Ghost Quarter. We play Stoneforge. We get Cauldra. We'll put our 1-drop in our 1-drop. We don't even have that many 1-drops, and our 1-drop pile is annoyingly large right now. So they're going to make a couple of Karn tokens, but we have Cauldra Complete, so they get to sit and spin on Cauldra Complete. I mean, they can dismember it, but I hope they don't. I suppose that's all I have to say. Please don't. Thought-Knot Seer. Ah, gross. There goes Cauldra Complete. If we find the Relic Warder, though, we can get rid of Chalice and then go to town, but we kind of do need to find that. Yep. No surprise there. Here's the 1-drop pile. Here's all the 1-drops we can't play. Is there any reason to blow up Urza's Saga? I guess we don't want them to get a Shadow Spear. So we'll take a damage because we're going to take a lot of damage anyway. Play Stoneforge Mystic. If we drew a land, we could have just put it right out, but we didn't. So Fart Noises, get the Batter Skull, and then blow up Urza's Saga. And they can go get another waste. They normally play 2 to 3 wastes or even 3 to 4 wastes. So it's not like the old days when Tron was playing 1 basic land and after the first one, oh, they have a Swamp. That's interesting. I thought they were playing Urborg, but Swamp's fine too. They deal us quite a bit of damage here. We could like double block Matter Reshaper, but if they have a removal spell, then we get blown out. Oh, here comes Reality Smasher, which was the name of the thing I couldn't remember. Yep. Yupper. Oh no. Okay, so we block Matter Reshaper now, because they can only kill 1. And then we take roughly 4 billion damage. See what they find. Urza's Mine, which just comes into play. And they have a Dismember. So we are very, very dead. All right. Is there anything we want to change here? Not really. The Chalice is just unfortunate, but I really can't, in good conscience, take any of my 1-drops out. Not that there's anything else I'd want to get. I mean, on the play, the Arbiters are better, but what we put in the deck is also just great. So I think with a heavy heart, we have to run it back. Right? What do we get? Well, there's the Relic Water. We can turn 1 Vial. So this, in theory, is pretty good. We have some land disruption to hopefully do some damage on their lands. What's their turn 1 play? Hopefully it's just land pass. Expo Map. So I think we do take Expo Map, even if they do end up playing a Chalice. We need to slow them down. That's how our deck works. So we'll play this because we want to play Warder. We'll take the Expo Map, slow them down a peg. If they play Chalice, they play Chalice. Urza's Tower, that's annoying. Chalice on 1, yep. But honestly, that's fine, because now we're just going to start blowing up lands. If we could find our fun of one of Leonin, that'd be great. Nope, just another plains. So Field of Ruin, goodbye Tower. We should have attacked before we did that, because now they can dismember the Relic dude. But if you came here for good gameplay, you came to the wrong channel. Guess if you have Dismember, congratulations, I punted that one for you. Let's see if we alley-ooped him. No, we didn't seem to alley-oop him, which is good. And then next turn we have Restoration Angel open, or we can Ghost Quarter another Tron piece. Ugh, here comes Thought-Knot Seer. Don't do it. Don't do what I just said. No, why am I so good at this game? Ugh, well there goes Restoration Angel, so farts. Huh. So now I have a hand of literally just land. It would be nice to find a Flicker Wisp. Put this to 3. Find a Bupkis card. Does no favors. Blow that up. Swamp, that's fine. I am in such a bad place. I do not care. Oof. Again, how I said in theory we're good against Tron, but E-Tron really just gets around all the things that supposedly make us, hard. A Reshaper, sure. Sure, why not? Hit us for 4. Yeah, we need to stop drawing lands right now is what we need to stop doing. Right, no, leave that at 3. Please draw a 3-drop. Batter Skull. Well, if they don't hand disrupt us, next turn we could just hardcast that. Then we can even put it on Relic Warder once it dies. So please don't play another Thought-Knot Seer, he said into the void. Looks like there's just going to be an attack. I say we just take this, go to 9, because next turn we're going to have a pretty big blocker. If they have a Thought-Knot Seer now, we just lose. Last zone. Farts. There goes Aether Vial. Opponent's doing a lot of thinking. They're probably thinking if they want to kill our Vial or not. They can't possibly know we're sitting here doing absolutely nothing. But once we get Batterskull down, that's going to do us a little bit of favors. Chalice on 2. Sure. Luckily for us, that's not how we plan on winning this game. Thanks. A Ghost Quarter. No, I think we have to Batterskull. So, now I have a Batterskull. I think we can chip in with Relic Warder. We don't want them to be able to Expo map. Plus, we kind of want to trade with Thought-Knot Seer, draw the card, and then put this on Leonic Relic Warder so that it's a 6/6. Because if they put Blast Zone to 2, then we can just Ghost Quarter because they have to tap it before they can do that. So we're in a decent spot right now. If they have a Dismember, that hurts. That almost kills us if they have a Dismember. That's some sort of commander thing that the Phyrexian Germ token icon has now. Oh, our opponent's going to combat. I will absolutely block. Nope, they're gonna let us make the mistake. Okay. A Stoneforge? You don't say. We don't have quite enough land to Stoneforge into putting Sword of Fire and Ice on the Germ, but what we can do is start by offering a trade, because we'll get to draw a card. Oh no, or they'll just Mana Reshaper, that's fine. We go to 13, which is also another reason why I did that. What do they get? Walking Ballista. That's a thing. That also changes what I want to do with the Stoneforge. So we play out Ghost Quarter. We play Stoneforge Mystic. There's a Chalice on 2, and it gets countered. That's unfortunate. Oopsie. So now they can still Blast Zone our Vial if they want, but if they try and go anywhere near 2, we can kill it. All right, leave that at 3, and a Jono. Fascinating. So we attack with both creatures and try and make it look like a punt. So they block the Leonin, we get to a Jonto, the Thought-Knot Seer. Man, that's a good card. Okay, so we get to draw a card. Silent Clearing, whatever. We deal them 4. Dismember? Oh no, they're just gonna blow up the Vial, which is fine. Dismember? Yeah, Dismember. Sure. I will play Silent Clearing, which will give me options, and then I will pass the turn. Because I can always bounce Batterskull back to my hand and then just replay it. Or I can just equip Leonin. Chalice on 0. Okay, I have no 0 drops. Do they have an Urza Saga? Is that why they did that? No, they're just passing. Do we crack? I think we do crack Silent Clearing. Card, other planes, happy we're not drawing that normally. Draw, Leonin Arbiter, play a planes. So that actually means we do try and equip, because we have another creature. Oh no, we can't play Leonin Arbiter. Oh, but it lived anyway. Okay, I mean, if they have a way of killing that, they have a way of killing that. Oh, and we've won the match. I was not expecting that, but we are good against Tron, as you can see here, just death by 1,000 cuts. So that is 3-1, I believe, going on to the final match. All right, we had a standard, let's see who can roll the same dice the same number of times, and I lost, so let's see, no turn 1 play, then turn 2 Thalia or Stoneforge, and then the next turn we have Path. Let's try it. If our opponent's not playing anything particularly quick, we're okay. If our opponent is playing something where Thalia is backbreaking, we're okay. If our opponent plays out something scary turn 1, we have a Path. Spire Bluff Canal into Darcy or Ragavan? Into nothing. Okay, I'll take it. I play a Plains. Next turn, if they dash out Ragavan, we have Path. And Opt. If this is Storm, then I feel super bad. One deck I can say we are solidly good against is Storm, especially when we have a Thalia in hand. Let's see what they're doing next. River Glide Pathway. This is looking more and more like Storm. They're not doing anything. So, nowadays, though, there are counter spells. So what do? I think we play out a Plains. I think we Stoneforge. We try and hide Thalia from whatever counter they have. Oh no, it comes down. So we're just gonna get Sword of Fire and Ice. And once that hits the field, it's protection from their deck. They play another Spire Bluff. They have the Goblin? They have Brawl, okay. So this is Storm, and we do have a Path. I don't think they can go off right now, because they only have the 1 mana. But next turn, we just Path followed by Thalia. Sweet. All right, Leonin Arbiter. That doesn't actually change anything. It might change something for next turn, but for right now, Path Brawl, and then play out their least favorite card to see, Thalia. And then we poke them in the eye for 1. And next turn, we can equip Thalia with Sword of Fire and Ice, or we can play out Arbiter and start attacking their mana base. But our opponent has an uphill battle right now. Now, it's not impossible to win against Taxes, but it is difficult. So they need another dude, and we have Sword of Fire and Ice, so we can just shoot down, unless it's another Brawl. We can't do anything about Brawl. Gifts Ungiven. Okay, so they're not going off this turn, which is good. So we put into the bin, we choose the 2 that go into the bin. So we put Baral and Electromancer into the bin because we can protect Thalia next turn. So we put the 2 creatures into the bin, and next turn Thalia is going to be protected by Sword of Fire and Ice. There's a giver. Play out Ghost Quarter, put Sword of Fire and Ice into play, put Sword of Fire and Ice onto Thalia, so now they can't kill it with Grape Shot, and we deal 6. We draw another Thalia, which is great. So we put them in a hard spot now because they have to play fair. Oh, and they scoop the whole match. You know what? I honestly think that's fine. This video is going to be super long, so let's go to the wrap up. So what did we see out of Mono White, No Solitude, Death, and Taxes? Well, we went 4-1. Against Merfolk, it was a budget deck, but technically, sort of, theoretically, so are we. So that didn't feel like a super unfair match. The one we dropped against the off-the-wall non-meta thing, again, fair. We're playing a deck that's really good against meta decks. If you play a non-meta deck, especially a Jundi Grindy style one, we lose, so hats off to that guy. Beating E-Tron, that was, you know, one of those moments where we really kind of snuck in there and got him. And beating Storm, again, this is a really hard matchup for Storm, so no surprise there. If you're interested in this deck, this is a more than fine version to start with. Is this better with Solitudes? Absolutely. Solitude is just better on all accounts, but this is an interesting kind of shell here where it's still totally viable using the old tech without the 5-mana Solitudes that, unless you're restoing them or flickering them or otherwise blinking them, it's kind of clunky unless you're playing a Urian pile where you have 20 extra cards to play with. So playing 4 Skyclave and 4 Solitudes is correct. Now, the 61 card nature of it, again, I would just get a Restoration Angel. I probably wouldn't even play Restoration Angel in the side or the Sanctum Prelates. I'd probably play other things that I'm more happy with, like Leonin, or Mirren Crusader, things like that. But that's my own personal preference. But again, if this is something interesting to you, give it a try. It's very cheap on Magic Online. So if you do play on Magic Online, this is like $98. And I realize almost $100 American is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But for something that you can legitimately play online, something that you can legitimately have fun playing with, it's something to do. And I will always have a soft spot in my heart for taxes, whether it's Eldrazian taxes or Mono White taxes, or Black White taxes, or Dead Guy Ale, or the Blink decks. I just really like this archetype. And as you can see here, there's more than one way to win, as you saw when we got the timeout victory against the Black deck, where he just ran out of time. He took too long. And on mid-go, timeouts are legitimate strategies. And again, it's not like we were scumming the guy. He did it to himself. But you have to make so many decisions both as and against taxes. And that's just something you have to be mindful of. I am back, ladies and gentlemen. So you will see me here every week, hopefully, as long as nothing else strange happens. I was on holiday, and while I was on holiday, I got the spicy cough, and those things happened. But while I was away, I did visit the United States, where electronics are much, much cheaper than here in Australia, and I did get a much better camera. So this little image over here, which is actually attached to a GoPro Hero 3, will soon be upgraded. We'll be able to do a little bit more. And while I was in America, I was able to get my old collection. So for you guys who stay to the very, very end, there's very few of you. It's normally like 3%. Thank you very much. I have a little surprise. So while I was in America, I was able to get some things. And as I've constantly said, I've been playing Magic for a very, very long time. But to kind of prove how long I've been around, I'm going to show you guys who stay to the very end something special. What you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is a Magic the Gathering, I think they call them Gamma, testing card. So these were part of the original Magic the Gathering testing set when Richard Garfield made Magic. And the unicorn on the back denoted either a draft set or the sealed set. They're not entirely sure anymore what exactly it denoted. But I have a Disintegrate testing card. I was able to go back to the States, and I have other surprises like that too in my pile of goodness, but let's be honest, of the people who watch my videos, like 1 or 2% of you bother to stay to the end. So if you stay to the end, you get to see a super secret surprise. So thanks for staying to the end. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I hope I earned your subscription today. If you have anything you would like me to try and play, my email is HeyDummyPlayThis@gmail.com. You'd be the first person to email me. So anything you want to see, email me at HeyDummyPlayThis, and I'll take a look at it. And I will catch you all next week for more semi-budget Magic the Gathering nonsensey goodness. Thank you guys, and I will catch you next time.